What's up, guys? It's Techno Viking 23 coming to you today with a little bit of Destiny news. If you guys were not aware, the new patch 1.1.1 has gone live. It is Wednesday, February 25th, and Bungie has just updated on their website that the new patch is now live. So what does this mean? Well, there's some weapon changes and some other changes they put in the game, and we're going to go over all of them here. The patch actually has been live for a little while. I've been playing Crucible for about the last hour or so, trying to, see if I notice any difference. And so far, interesting results. And kind of confirmed what I thought in my video I did where I said these changes weren't going to matter. And if you see me running with a shotgun here, it's because they doubled the shotgun damage for PvE. So I'm kind of just running around to see what it's like. But anyways, let's find a quiet spot and we'll have a little chat. So I found some interesting results today in the Crucible, but we're also going to go over some of the other changes that they put in that are going to affect other areas of the game. There's some pretty interesting things that came out in the notes today. I will link to the news story down below and also to the weapon tuning overall patch notes. Alright, so let's take a look here. So first off, Destiny Update 1.1.1 will bring you round of weapon balancing, perk fixes, heavy ammo fix, and fixing other issues. So here's what we're looking at for weapons. They say in general, they fixed an issue in which your armor with perks that increase ammunition carrying capacity resulted in ammunition loss upon respawn. Decreased the over-penetration value for weapons with armor-piercing perks. I believe that was simply to address the complaints in the Crucible about sniper rifles that have armor-piercing rounds. I don't know if I have any of those to look at here. I think maybe the LDR, high cal, yeah, armor-piercing. Basically, what you could do with these with a sniper is you could actually shoot people through walls. It didn't matter how thick the wall was; you could literally just shoot someone right through the wall. And there was a lot of complaining on the forums about that. So I don't know if that's why they nerfed it, but I'm sure that's probably part of the reason. So the over-penetration value has been decreased. I'm sure that's probably just going to affect sniper rifles for the most part. That perk's on other weapons, but people were mainly just using it on the snipers. Fixed an issue where items from the PS3 360 Destiny demo were using old power values. Those have been adjusted to regular levels. Song of Uryut weapon tooltip now advertises the correct magazine size. The shoot to loot perk, a 2-second cooldown, has been added to the perk to prevent extra ammunition gains while the ammunition bricks are despawning. Darkbreaker perk will now correctly damage Hive Shriekers. Snap Discharge will now increase attack speed as per the description. Thunderer perk now has priority on the 4th Horseman tooltip. I guess that's for your PS4 guys. And full auto, they fixed an issue in which weapon perk stopped working while the trigger was being held down. Interesting. Now we get into the general weapon nerfs, as they say, or tuning, whatever you want to call it. For the auto rifles, we reduced the base damage by 2.5% and reduced the effective range values. Now I gotta be honest with you guys, I went into the Crucible, played for a little over an hour. I used all the weapons to try to see if anything felt different, because to me it's a matter of feel, it's not so much a matter of statistics. Soros Regime is still really good. I didn't really notice any difference at all, just maybe a slight drop off at range. Still killing people very quickly. It's still a great weapon in PvP. So I honestly didn't really notice much with Soros Regime. I didn't really notice much with my Hard Light. And then I even used my this Eidolon Ally, and I screwed around with this in Iron Banner a bit. It's actually not a bad weapon if you get up close with it, and again, I didn't really notice much of a change at all. So I don't think the people who want to stop seeing Soros in the Crucible are going to get their wish, because it's still a very good weapon, and my Hard Light was working very well as in addition to that. Alright, pulse rifles. Now this was the big change. They buffed the base damage on pulse rifles by 9.7%. Now, in my other video, I mentioned that I didn't think this would really matter much, because the overall problem with pulse rifles is they just don't handle very well in general. They don't reload very fast. They don't have a very good rate of fire. Just to me, the overall perks in general on most pulse rifles are not very good. However, I do like Red Death and I do like my Bad Juju. I tried both of those out, and I noticed that the time to kill it's a little bit faster now. It's like a 2-burst kill with Red Death, And Bad Juju, definitely you can tell it kills a little bit quicker, but it's not anything like groundbreaking. It doesn't make them so much better than everything else. Red Death it's always been to me a very good weapon in the Crucible if you're an accurate player. Precision shots were the king, in the PvP, but with this weapon, if you could land precision shots, you could always get quick kills with Red Death. And I used Bad Juju all through the Iron Banner, if I could talk today. I used Bad Juju all through the Iron Banner. It did fairly well with it the matches I used it. So I noticed just a very slight your time to kill is a lot faster. Not a lot faster, a slight bit faster with these weapons. Overall, though, not a huge change. It didn't feel like any kind of very impressive buff, and, my worry was when they announced these changes that this damage buff was not going to be enough to really force people into changing weapon styles. It's not going to make people use pulse rifles. I can tell you for the hour and a half or so I played of the Crucible, I was still getting killed by the same weapons. People are still using the Vex, and that which is surprising. We'll get to that in a minute. There's been a big change with the Vex. But Thorn was still killing me in 2 hits, pretty much anytime anybody had it, and I didn't really notice too many people using pulse rifles. A couple people had Red Death, but for the most part, it was the same weapons I normally see. Alright, moving on to hand cannons. Slightly reduced the effective range and slightly reduced the initial accuracy. Slightly is probably a good word here because I didn't notice anything. I used my chance for half a match and also my Timur's Lash. Timur's Lash this gun is just ridiculous. I was getting 2 to 3 hit kills with this thing from all over the map. The range thing doesn't seem to really bother me. The chance, same thing. I was getting my normal, usually it's 3 to 4 hit kills with this. Just not a very, compared to the other hand cannons, it doesn't kill very fast, but it's still, in my opinion, it's a weapon I'm comfortable with and I like using. And that's kind of how I looked at this, is, I went into it and I used the chance all the time in the Crucible and I wanted to see if it felt different, and it doesn't. It feels the same. So they say slightly reduced. I think that's pretty accurate because honestly, it didn't feel that much different to me, and everybody was using Thorn still, so obviously they didn't really nerf hand cannons that badly. I don't know on PS4, if you guys let me know, everybody's still running with Hawkmoon? I'll bet they are. We go to fusion rifles. Widen the blast pattern on a fusion rifle burst cone and reduce the starting ammunition in PvP. This is a very interesting thing because this was a nerf I said probably wouldn't make much of a difference. The widened blast pattern, noticed it a little bit when you were trying to go at extreme range with the fusion rifle, but at mid-range there's still 1-hit kills. I used my, what was I running with here? I was running with the Purifier, which you can see the range on this thing is really good already, and I've got Send It on there. This thing was still killing out to mid-range very easily, and I don't use fusion rifles that often, but one match I just kind of threw it on there to test it out, and I didn't notice any difference. Not a huge, if there is one, it's not a big one. It's really not anything to write home about. Shotguns, I didn't really get. I'm not very good with shotguns, so I can't really talk about them much. I was still getting killed with shotguns at close range, so I don't think they've really done much with those either. Even though they're saying they reduced the range values and damage fall off, I don't know. Now here's the interesting thing. They say they reduced the starting ammunition for PvP for both fusion rifles and shotguns. This doesn't matter. And this is exactly what I said in my other video. I said, all you have to do is run and grab one ammo box and you're good to go. From my testing with both shotguns and fusion rifles, I was starting off with 10 rounds for each at the beginning of the match. And that's just using, I didn't have any of my, usually with my armamentarium I get more special weapon ammo. Now, I didn't really notice any change at all. So I got 10 rounds with the fusion rifle, I got 10 rounds with the shotgun. The minute I went to the first special ammunition box and grabbed the special ammo, I went up to 21 rounds for both weapons. So you pretty much, you just go grab one weapon box and you're all set for the match. Just like it used to be, you can still carry a ton of ammunition for those weapons. You can still use them as your primer if you want to. The reduction of the starting ammunition in PvP did absolutely nothing, just like I thought it would. And now here's the real kicker. I'm pretty sure that before, when you died, that it took some special weapon ammo away from you. It no longer does that. I kept track. I had 21 rounds of my fusion rifle. I died. It didn't take any away. I died again. It didn't take any away. So before, you used to get your ammo reduced every death with your special weapon ammo. It doesn't look like that's happening now, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't like that before. So I don't know if that's an unforeseen issue with this patch that they didn't see, but overall, yeah, you know, it didn't doesn't it's not going to make any bit of difference. People are still going to be using their special weapons in the Crucible. So those are my thoughts just from playing PvP for, you know, an hour and a half or so with the patch live. These weapon changes, you know, I know everybody was kind of ranting and raving about them, and I don't think they're going to make a difference. Now I will, you know, obviously monitor PvP this week while I play, and I'll you know, probably do another video towards the end of the week, and I'll see if anything has changed. But yeah, I don't really see any difference. So guys, I don't think those weapon changes really worked that well. Now, let me jump back into orbit here. I want to show you guys as we move on through the update. That's it for the weapon change update. Now they did have more detailed patch notes on the weapons. I'll put that in the link below so you guys can check that out if you're interested. Now, activities for strikes. The weekly heroic strike is now a match-made activity. Strikes supposedly will be less likely to repeat in matchmaking rotations for full fire teams. I will let you know how that works out after I play a couple of strikes here. So let's just check this out. If you go in here, I just want to see, okay, weekly heroic strike. Can you still change? You can still change the difficulty. All right, so we hit launch, searching. Okay, so there is matchmaking now. Cool. I didn't want to go through it in case it matched me with anybody, but I'm torn on this update. You know, I liked soloing these because it was kind of fun. It was challenging. It was something, you know, extra in the game I could do by myself, but it's also going to be nice for me because I can run the higher end and get my 9 coins every week now on the level 30. But I wish they had made this optional so you could opt in, choose to play it solo, or choose to matchmake it. I think, you know, again, to me, that's kind of Bungie saying, play it this way. We don't want you to have the option of playing it the way you want to. Play it the way we want you to. And that seems to be their overall just attitude towards this game and the community. You know, it's just give us the option. You know, it's like when they removed the option to trade in materials for Crucible marks, and then they made it you can only trade in, you know, marks for materials now. It's like, have it both ways. You didn't need to take one of them out. You could have just kept both, you know. I'm going to try to stay on track here. I don't want to get off and go on a tangent. Alright, so PvP general changes. Players will now unlock all playlists simultaneously when they unlock the Crucible. I'm guessing that's when you're initially leveling up for the first few levels. Added a new notification when Crucible modes unlock. Yeah, I saw that when I logged in. It popped up and it said, you now have access to all the Crucible stuff. Crucible maps will be less likely to repeat in matchmaking rotations for full fire teams. I guess that means if you're playing as a solo, you're still going to get repeat maps over and over again, since it says full fire teams. I'm assuming that means a full fire team is 6. Guardians no longer drop heavy ammunition when killed in PvP. Now this is interesting, and this is already getting some people on the forums are kind of getting a little upset with this. You know, I don't know how I feel about that, because honestly I don't pick it up that much. I don't see people dropping it that much, and usually with my machine guns I'm using, I get plenty of heavy ammo to use for a while, so I don't think that's a big deal, but I'm sure some people are upset by it. Guardians now drop much less special ammunition when killed in PvP. This makes no difference because, like I said, the special ammo boxes are still everywhere. You can still grab it, you know, all the time. It's available. You're still going to be able to use your secondary as a primary, which was what they were trying to avoid, but it's still there. Completed matches will now award gear with proper power level. And what I've read so far on that, what I believe that means is that you now will actually get gear that's your level. Now, if you're like a level, you know, obviously like a 26 or 27, and you've already got all your purple legendary gear, this is not really going to make any difference. I think this is more towards the people who are at the lower levels trying to get some of that rare gear to get light levels. It will actually award them, you know, gear that they can use. Fixed a bug where there was no audio playing for the bullet that kills people. Okay, that's interesting. Not real sure. I don't know what that's about, but moving on. Iron Banner. Iron Banner playlist will now contain smaller maps in rotation. A little late for that, but that'll be for the next one. The focused aggression bounty will now be completed with headshots from pulse rifles, scout rifles, and hand cannons. I guess they're still going to have auto rifles, but that's good. That's good. More weapon variety. Hopefully that'll make a difference. But if they didn't take the auto rifle out of that, I don't know. It may not change anything. Alright, moving on to items. Fixed an issue in which Xur did not carry exotic engrams in his inventory on certain dates. So hopefully Xur is going to have exotic engrams more often. Crota's incompletion emblem will now be sent to the postmaster when a player inventory is full. Ammunition consumables will now work if used when player inventory is full. Fixed issues that prevented qualifying players who had deleted their characters from claiming the Tumbler Sparrow from tests in the tower. Okay, that's just some general maintenance stuff. Okay, user interface. Character inventory screen now displays faction reputation and weekly mark counters. That's what I want to bring you guys in here to check it out. So you see now you've got this little drop down box, and you come down here and it tells you, oh, this is pretty cool. You know, you got your Cryptarch rank, you got your Vanguard rank, Crucible rank, Dead Orbit, Future War Cult, New Monarchy, and Crota's Bane. It also tells you where you're at in terms of the mark cap for the week. You can see where you are at. So that is actually very helpful. That's something that I kind of feel like should have been in the game a long time ago, but at least it's there now. That's very helpful. It's a very neat feature. And now you're not going to have to run to the tower or go check, you know, Bungie.net to figure out where your rank is. So I'll give them some props on this one. This is a nice little addition they made. Okay. Players in public spaces will no longer see voice notifications when a player at a match-made fire team enters. So now you won't see that so-and-so has entered the fire team notification popping up on your screen. Players will now see improved notifications when their teammates join and depart fire team chat channels. Okay. And there's a bunch of stuff for the Grimoire. I'm like, there's a lot of stuff here. You guys can go read that. It's just about the Grimoire cards are now supposedly going to unlock properly. Technical DLC and patch systems have been improved. Xbox One upsell from trial version to full version no longer makes you leave the game. Improved networking resilience to packet reordering. Networking improvements for certain routers. We'll see. And here we go. I saved the best for last here. This is for all you Vex Mythoclast people. A bug was introduced in 1.1.1 patch that caused the Vex Mythoclast to spawn with less ammo in the magazine and reserves in PvP. The weapon was affected by overall fusion rifle changes because it is treated as a secondary weapon. We intend to correct this issue in a future release. Oh boy, this is going to have people really upset. So basically what they've done is they've nerfed the Vex Mythoclast again. They say it was by accident, but I don't know. You now will spawn with less ammo in the magazine and less in reserve. So even though the Vex is a primary now, it's going to be treated more like a secondary in terms of ammo count. And it was affected by the fusion rifle changes, which means there's a range drop off on it. And it's going to have, I guess, a wider burst cone. Ouch. So, in a way that's, I don't know, I don't want to say it's good because, you know, I know people worked really hard to get that weapon a lot of the time, you know, playing the Vault of Glass on hard mode. It's an annoying weapon to go up against in the Crucible. But man, that's just, it is an accidental nerf. So, read into that what you will. I don't know, guys. But my overall opinion, like I said, I went through and played quite a bit. And I tested this out quite a bit in Crucible in terms of the weapon changes. And just like I thought, it's not a huge difference. It's not really anything groundbreaking. You know, like I said, my Surge Regime was performing the same as it did all Iron Banner. My Red Death and my Bad Juju did kill a little bit faster, but it's not anything that makes them overpowered that people are just going to start rushing to use pulse rifles in the Crucible. So, interesting update. I think in the end it turned out to be a lot of noise about nothing, but we'll see. Like I said, I'll pay attention this week in the Crucible, and I'll, you know, report back and let you guys know if I found anything different. Anyways, guys, it's Techno Viking 23. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. Let me know if you guys are seeing any differences at all in your gameplay with these weapon changes. If any of your favorite weapons have been affected, you know, how you guys feel about this patch. Overall, like I said, I don't feel like it's that big of a deal, really. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you again next time.